Thank you, Alejandro, and thank you, Chiki. Next is our final general session. It's about content distribution relationships. Our panel includes programmers and a provider. They're going to discuss how the dynamic of their relationships have needed to change in order to adapt to the shifts in the marketplace and how they're planning on moving together towards the future. Our moderator is Marianne Halford. She's a senior advisor at OC&C Strategy Consulting. Our panelists include Jorge Fiterre, he's the founder of Condista, Luis Torres-Bohl, he's the president of Castalia Communications, and Shane Cannon, he's the president at VIDGO. I just want to take a moment to congratulate Luis on the Award for Corporate Leadership, which Castalia received on Monday, and to also congratulate him on Mexicanal's 15th anniversary. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to say congratulations. Okay, now, Marianne, please take it away.
I'm here. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. It's great to be with everybody. Jorge, Luis, and Shane, you're all very impressive. I would love for you to introduce yourselves briefly, because we want to make sure we get all the juicy content in here, and just let everybody know what you're doing. Jorge.
Yes, well, thank God our industry has allows us to work from home. Our heart goes out to those people that have to go, work in restaurants, etc. We have been able to continue operating. It's changing, and of course, our industry is changing now. We, and just selling channels, we have to provide the VOD service. We have to provide everything to our distributors, in addition to ad sales, etc. So, our industry is constantly changing, and of course, we came from a changing industry. It was free TV, and 40 years ago, we started with pay TV, and now it's coming full circle. It's going back to free ad-supported TV. So we're looking at that, and how is that going to be the future?
Fantastic. Luis, can you please let us know a little bit about Castalia? And again, congratulations. Felicidades.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to see you, Marianne. Nice to see you too, Jorge and Shane. Sure. And thank you again, Joe. As always, you're very kind. For the first 20 years of my personal and professional life, and Castalia has been around, for many years, now, we focus primarily on developing international, projects. The past 15 or more years, we have focused our energies in the U.S. Hispanic market, developing projects like Alterna TV, which included channels like Once, Mexico, Canal 22, and Peru Mágico, among many others. With my partners, Fernando Polar and Damian Torres-Bohl, we focus today our energies on the distribution of channels from Radio Televisión Española, TV Internacional, 24 Horas, and the award-winning children's channel from Spain, Clan. And of course, we are living the 15th anniversary of Mexicanal, and we continue to serve the Mexican American community here in the United States with original programming, and programming that has been recognized internationally by the likes of Netflix, Telemundo, Televisa, who have aired our programming recently. Smithsonian Channel was airing a show that we originally produced for Mexicanal, and on a second window was aired on Smithsonian Channel called Cantinas. So we are very happy to be working on the Hispanic market, Mariana, and thank you.
So can I just ask one quick question here? Jorge and Luis, would you consider yourselves frenemies or friendly competitors in certain regards?
We're friends. I mean,
Friends.
what do you mean?
Okay.
What friendly competitor? And we've known each other for many years, and I mean, you know, it's not friendly competitors. We're friends. We're
Okay.
not, you know, we're not. Well, I mean, whenever Jorge and I meet, I mean, we always have, you know, drinks. We, you know, share and part bread. So I mean, it's not. I mean, you know, they have their business, we have our business. And there is enough, business for the two of us.
That's great. And now Shane, he's doing something different. Why don't you tell us a little bit about VIDGO, Shane? And I think you have a few slides to present to us as well, correct?
Yeah, I'd be happy to discuss that. It's nice to be here. Thank you, Jorge, Luis, Marianne, pleasure to be with you. But Jorge and others we work with from a content side, we're grateful for them, and they've been a valued partner. And frankly, they were one of the first ones to give us content rights. And Jorge, we're always grateful for that. Thank you. I just want to reiterate our focus on the Latino community. We believe in, from a content perspective, it's necessary to be successful. We're finding COVID has actually created an opportunity for us. Like others, people are streaming more than ever. They're embracing it more. And I have some statistics to share that our Latino customers are embracing it more so than the general population. I think it'll be fun to talk about today.
Okay, and do you have the slides ready there? Can you share them from there?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay, great.
If I can.
Great.
Does everybody see that okay?
Yep.
So interestingly enough, and this I've looked at our customer base as a whole, and then specifically with our Latino customers that have Latino packages, and the stats and numbers you see here are specific to our Latino viewers. We've seen close to this national average where 70% of our users are engaged more post-COVID than pre-COVID as far as watching more hours, and that's a good thing. From a platform perspective, I thought it'd be fun to share. We're seeing mobile usage on average at about 86 minutes per month on a mobile device. And then on a set-top and OTT device, we're seeing over 1,000 minutes per user per month, 1,014-minute average. We do a lot in the mobile space. As you know, we have a social TV feature. We were the first ones to do it, contrary to some of the news releases this week from Sling. And our users are watching heavy Android. Almost 61% have an Android mobile device and 39% on iOS. As you would suspect, Roku is our top platform, the most usage on Roku, Fire TV, Apple, etc. But one particular note is how much smart TV usage we're seeing from a Latino customer in particular. It's higher than the norm of others. And so I think that's an opportunity for all of us to take note of.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
So when we'll take that off and we'll get into some of the questions.
Yep.
What's really interesting when one thinks about distribution, one also always has to start thinking about, well, what is media consumption? And obviously media consumption is changing. Each of you are involved in distributing content to audiences, the Hispanic audiences in the United States. How have changing media consumption patterns impacted how you distribute your content?
For me?
Yeah,
Basically,
all of you.
as I mentioned, there has been an emphasis by distributors in having VOD material. So, some people tend to watch more non-linear episodes, and then also it's a good indicator of performance of certain series or programs, etc. They're naturally, serialized programs, are very interesting. And Luis brought up an important thing, which is also we've come a long way in Hispanic programming in getting recognized. For instance, the Money Heist, La Casa de Papel, which is an Antena 3 production, was the #1 worldwide consumed for a long time. And, you know, so yes, we've had to adapt to those changes of the VOD. You know, we have seen perhaps, you know, yes, with the pandemic, and it's been a national trend, it's finally reached the Hispanic packages where we have seen a little downward turn. We're very encouraged by projects like Shane that will, you know, hopefully fill in those gaps and go into the new distribution platforms.
Jorge and
Yeah.
Luis, are you both distributing on Shane's platform right now?
Not us. I mean, I can give you my
Okay.
my you know my 50 cents, you know, for or maybe 25. I mean, I'm always reminded of video, you know, kill the radio star, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, what we're looking at is the OTT killed the cable, you know, channel. Well, I don't think that is going to happen, as it has not happened. That I mean, you know, video did not, you know, kill the radio star. And radio, I mean, you have Spotify, you have, I mean, you have multiple ways, you know, through which radio or audio is being enjoyed by a variety of different people. I mean, you know, if anything, you know, you have a bigger market. It's the same thing for, you know, for us. I don't think that, you know, cable channels are going to disappear. What is going to happen is that they are going to get stronger. There's always, you know, some, you know, process over time. I mean, this, you know, after all, I mean, it's a Darwinian, you know, type of, you know, world, but that's basically how I feel. So we are playing in OTT, you know, in Latin America, not in the US. We feel that in the US, cable, you know, distribution is still very strong, and it will continue, you know, to be strong.
Okay, and now Shane, you built your business model literally based on changing media consumption patterns. Can you tell us a little bit about the thinking behind that?
Sure. I'm a satellite guy. I was a distributor for DirecTV and Dish Network for 15 years, and I saw the shifts in the market about 5 years ago. I have 4 children, and I saw quickly them embracing streaming and Netflix and Hulu and other platforms. And I had free satellite service at home, and they wouldn't consume it, and I knew my days were numbered. So I got into this space, and more so from a product perspective, to be able to have everyone qualify. You know, one of the biggest challenges in distribution is the SAC cost, the acquisition cost. And in the satellite world, a truck roll and the installation can take hours. It's very expensive. Typically you invest, you know, $500+ to get a customer. And I wanted to have a product that was real time, turnkey, and that everyone would qualify. And so that's why we went down the path of getting streaming. And then from a mobile perspective, I thought it was important to partner on and focus on the prepaid space. And so we've cut partnerships and deals with prepaid distributors, and we're targeted, laser focused on the prepaid segment of the market, the underserved, as many of you may know. And that's where I spend most of my marketing dollars.
That's fantastic. And do you think you might want to make a deal with these two guys today? I'm just, you know.
Well, we use Jorge's. Condista is a very good partner. We use a lot of their channels, and
Okay.
of course, we have interest in more content. And, you know, interestingly enough, I didn't cover it in my slide, but we heard loud and clear from our customers the need and demand for a bilingual package. And so to this point, we've only done Spanish only or English only, and we're excited to announce within the coming month or so, we'll have a bilingual package that will include both English and Spanish. And we heard loud and clear from our customers that was what was missing or lacking.
That's fantastic. That's
You know,
fantastic.
one of the things I wanted to bring up is that we live in the world of Amazon. You know, you order something today and you have it here tomorrow, and they're working on having same-day delivery. When I worked at a system level, the thing, kind of the bragging, right? The bragging of general managers. Oh, I'm doing so good. My installations are 2 weeks out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I always said, you know, they know they're going to get 70 installations. Why can't they do instant install or do the next thing install, you know. And this is one of the things that, you know, OTT has done. Also, that thing, the converter box, you know, basically it's now apps. They can be upgraded. They can be, you know, it's not like we have to have a technician come out to your house and whatever and tear up all the cables, etc. It's now so easy, and you know, that's also you know, we're not in a world where we're gonna sit to 8 o'clock on Tuesday to watch a program. You know, I want to watch it now. You know, and I don't want to watch next episode next week. I want to watch it right after I finish this episode. So it's sort of our changing world, and which has affected the media landscape.
So, Luis, I agree with Jorge that it is very much a changing world, but isn't that also impacting your traditional business models? And how are you responding in that regard?
Of course, I mean, you know, technology changes, you know, things. I mean, we have seen, since I am old enough to have seen, you know, the advent of cable and pay television channels and all of that. I mean, we have seen, you know, the world of 3 television networks change to what it is today. You know, so I mean, is it going to change? And having, you know, more, you know, networks and more possibilities of distribution and ways, you know, through which people can consume content. Of course, it's going to, you know, make it more possible for different ways of consuming content. And of course, we are, you know, taking advantage of those. But I mean, we're not gonna kill our, you know, our children, you know, just because, you know, technology is changing. Of course it changes, but I mean, as I said earlier, you know, I don't think the OTT is going to kill the cable channel. I mean, it won't. You know, those things are going to continue to exist as broadcast. You know, cable didn't kill, you know, television, broadcast television. You know, and on and on. It's additive. You know, people are consuming. I mean, and I'm sure that Shane and Jorge and you know that people are consuming more. You know, television. I mean, whether it is in a traditional sitting down at 5 o'clock, you know, and watch, you know, like ABC, CBS, or whatever news, or an appointment television, or just consume it, you know, from Netflix or Prime or whoever. I mean, it doesn't, you know, it's just the mix is changing, not necessarily, you know, and it is increasing. And we are, you know, taking, as I said a little bit earlier, we just launched, you know, a project, and it was launched Sunday, the 13th, you know, this past Sunday. And it's a project in Latin America. It's called Europa Más, and it's the best European programming. You know, it's made available through the new means of distribution, OTT. We use the same, you know, technology to a certain degree as Netflix does, and the same infrastructure to deliver, you know, to Europeans or European or people who like European programming in Latin America, the latest of Doctor Who and whatever.
Wow,
so
that sounds great.
So we are taking, you know, we are taking advantage, and we are, you know, taking measures to use, you know, the technology from a business standpoint. But that doesn't necessarily, you know, mean that we're going to abandon, you know, the current, you know, businesses that we have.
Right.
I mean, and I'm sure that Jorge, you know, will agree with me. And if he wants to leave all his cable channels, you know, I'll take them.
But when I think about your comments regarding the core business, what I would like to hear from both you and Jorge is how have viewer numbers held up, particularly during this pandemic? And also, how are viewer numbers held up in light of cord cutting? And then 2, what has been the response of advertisers in terms of finding your channel properties compelling for media buying purposes?
Well, I don't want to continue talking, but we're seeing our best advertising sales year. So I mean,
Even in the pandemic.
Yes.
Wow.
And not unlike what Shane was mentioning a minute ago. I mean, we don't have 30 channels. We only have, and some of the channels that we represent and that we distribute do not carry advertising like Televisión Española.
Right.
But so all I can, the only experience that I can, address is that of Mexicanal, and I can tell you that not only, is Mexicanal, increase the amount of revenues that it receives from advertising sales, but we have also increased, substantially, and I know that Jorge is going through the same thing in terms of audience, growth. I mean, people are staying home. I mean, what else are they going to do? I mean, they're going to watch TV or they're going to entertain themselves in some fashion. So Mexicanal and TVE and all the channels that we distribute have seen a huge increase, a very substantive increase in
That's
viewership.
Great. Jorge, have you had a similar?
Basically, we have seen some drops in some of the Hispanic packages, but at the same time, those distributors that are have not given up and that are continuing, we have seen some increases in certain packages. There may be some distributors that are trying to shift their business, and it's been in the trades, both DirecTV and Dish may look to or are making big push for AT&T now and Sling TV. Shane is already ahead of them. He's already there. That is his core business. As far as advertising, yes, we saw first kind of some dips, and then all of a sudden advertising kicked up tremendously. And as Luis was alluding to, it could be to increase viewership. And, a lot of this advertising has to do with direct response, etc. So it has to do with viewership. And the other thing is that we're getting used to perhaps ordering more by mail. We don't go to a store. We order from Amazon. We order from Instacart. So, we are getting a little bit more comfortable with this situation. I think it also may help Shane because, you're sitting home and you say, wait, let me try this thing. It may be different. So it's changing the landscape.
Yep.
Marianne,
Go ahead,
one thing
Shane.
I'd like to add too is, with sports coming back, with live sports, it's made a tremendous difference for us. And we've seen a huge uptake because of the live sports coming back. And I think, in all my years selling television, I don't remember a time where I had NBA playoffs, NFL football, Major League Baseball, and soccer all in the same month, in the same evening, sometimes multiple tier 1 shows happening. And
You also had hockey as well.
And you still have hockey. So all at the same time, it's very unique because of COVID. And, to Jorge's point, they're watching, they're stuck at home, and there's more choices than ever. Right. And that's good for us because they're glued to the television, and it's an opportunity.
But your business relies on subscriber growth. Have you found that your numbers are ahead of what you expected, or are you on par? How has COVID affected your ability to increase your subscriber base?
So we had to pivot with COVID in March, because we had heavy retail distribution and shifted towards digital marketing, we were sensitive to the, loss of income and others. So we made a $10 discount on our rate plans. And for the first 3 months, we were aggressive on our pricing just to kind of adjust to COVID. More recently, because of NFL, and this month, I mean, the sales are through the roof because of NFL. There's a bigger appetite for NFL than ever. I know there's a lot of political discord because of protests, but I can tell you people are watching it, and they can get past the kneeling, and there's high interest in NFL.
And NFL is very popular amongst Hispanic audiences.
It is, yeah. And that's part of some of those requests came from, our Latino customer that wanted to add the red zone package, for example, to a Latino package.
Right. And then you're introducing a bilingual package. What's the impetus behind that?
Well, as I think we all know, most second generation Hispanics and third generation Hispanic live in a bilingual household, and they watch both. And so most of the packages are too cookie cutter with English only or Spanish only. And no one's done a good job of combining it. And we think that's where our opportunity lies, in a very comprehensive bundle. The other thing I'm seeing in the market is everyone's going direct to consumer with Peacock and Discovery and Viacom, and everyone announcing direct to consumer apps. I think the AVOD is kind of a flavor of the month concept, that people are doing very well with it, but there's going to be too much of it. And I think people are going to want an aggregator like us that brings quality content in a single platform, and you don't have to jump from app to app to watch content.
But when you talk about doing a bilingual package, does that mean you're going to have Cartoon Network in English and Cartoon Network in Spanish, or are you going to do a mix of channels in different genres?
It's a mix, heavy around sports and news and locals and Latino, I would say, are kind of the 4 genres of where we're focused. But it does include movies. I mean, our Latino customers watch more movies than my English customers, is an interesting fact. There's just there's viewing habits that each demographic does more than others. You just have to take advantage and serve up content that they're looking for.
And are people engaging more in your platform than perhaps they might on a cable platform that's catering to Hispanics? You have data on that? I think so,
because we have a social TV platform. Most people may not be familiar, but people can interact, and that's another benefit of COVID. People are isolated, they're stuck at home, and they're a little more open to engaging with a stranger, chatting and talking about a show and sharing an experience, or that wasn't done in the past. But because of COVID, people are probably lonely and looking for connection, and our social TV platform allows people to engage. And I think we'll see more of that. And Dish just made an announcement yesterday. They're experimenting with the Chrome web browser, and I think it's the future where people are interacting, and that's difficult to do in the cable.
Well, I'll move on to Jorge and Luis in a moment. I just want to ask you one more question here. Tell us, how does the social platform work on your platform?
So we have a strategic investor and partner called Kiswe Mobile that built the platform for us, has a lot of IP behind it. It's 5+ years of technology behind it, but you can engage, and it's not just chat. You can post a poll, or you can share a meme or a Giphy as you're watching content. And so there's interaction, and it makes it fun. It's not just the drab, boring chat. There's a lot more functionality to it, and it's super popular, and I think we'll see more of it. Fox and other networks are experimenting with it as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Luis.
What I was going to tell you is that we have the same, the same app, that they have. We, our, in Latin America, in Europa Más, they are going to be able to chat with each other and comment on and share, moments when they're watching this or that particular show, and at the same time, live.
And can you plug into that application with your own existing social,
Yes.
presence? Okay. So like if I'm a Facebook user, I can use Facebook too. Okay.
Yes, or Instagram or Twitter.
Right. Okay.
So I mean, we're using kind of the same, technology that Shane is referring to, but to Latin American subscribers to Europa Más.
So as you all think about evolving distribution models, do you think having some sort of social connectivity is going to be increasingly important to how content is distributed? Will it become an expectation amongst consumers?
Well, it depends. I mean, as I said before, it depends on what the circumstances are and what the context is. If it is an OTT context, and I think, if anything, if anybody can take advantage of these technologies are the cable companies. The
Right.
cable companies have the infrastructure, they just haven't built those things.
Right.
I mean, for my money, the Xfinity box, is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like the computer that I'm speaking to you, through right now.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, like not even a tenth of what's in it.
Right.
I don't use it all. I mean, and I don't think anybody does.
Okay, so we're getting low on time, but I want to start talking about the future. 5 years from now, how do you see the distribution landscape changing or evolving? Jorge, what are your thoughts there?
I think that what Luis said is very right. The analogy from radio to television, I think, yes, we will have to adjust our business models for the future. I think that, we're going to be mostly in an OTT world. We are perhaps are going to see, cable companies start distributing, since their technology is already there, that they may start distributing beyond their franchised area, that they will break that taboo of going outside the area. So, yeah, the distribution will be there, as we said, like the radio is still here, but it will be a little bit more complex. We're going to have to get up a little bit earlier in the morning and work a little bit harder, because all of these things like VOD, etc., will have to be made available to our clients.
Luis?
Well, I don't think you have to get up earlier and work harder, Jorge. Just make your partner, get up earlier and work harder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think, Fernando and Damian, who are my partners in this business, they're going to have to get up and, earlier and work harder. You and I should, take a back seat for a little bit. But, seriously, I agree with you, Jorge. I mean, it is a complex world, and it is complex, brought about by technology. But I think it's a good thing. I mean, going back to the 1970s, I mean, there was nothing. I mean, not only here in the U.S., but around the world. I worked, for Turner in the 80s. And at that time, when I landed from CBS, in Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm speaking to you from, I mean, there were 250 people, at the company. I mean, that included the janitorial staff. I mean, everybody. So I mean, and CNN, had not been on the air. It started at the end of '81, and I came here at the end of '85. So, I mean, since then, we have seen, not only an explosion of, brought about by technology and changes in regulations and all those things. I mean, but it's always a good thing. I mean, Shane, you were in satellites. I mean, the Rene Anselmo with, Mr. Azcárraga's funding, created a PanAmSat, and they were able to, unlock, the potential of satellite, private satellite, business. And as a consequence, I mean, we all benefited from it. So, I mean, yes, I mean, I think it's a wonderful thing, technology. But I believe that, the traditional businesses, I mean, and the traditional companies like Comcast and Charter, and including, Dish, I mean, very, very, very innovative. I mean, I wouldn't, put anything on any of the CEOs of these companies and the executives. I mean, I know that they're looking out. I mean, our job is to offer, to them the possibility of having better content. And after all, that's what people are looking, for. They're looking for ways in which to be entertained, informed, and our job, to a certain extent, more Jorge and I mean, and you too, Shane, is to bring about, those alternatives, through whatever means. I mean, I love the future. And you know why I love the future? Because I've already seen, I've already lived the past, and right now I'm just talking to you. So I mean, the future is wonderful. I mean, it's way ahead, and God knows what it's going to bring to me, and I'm very happy to be a part of that.
One of the things that I like, that I saw, it's always when I started in cable, it was the broadcasters were up here, and somehow the cable industry was down here. Used to try to get permission to serve a community, and they say, nah, I belong to a video club. Then Dick Cheney, during the Gulf War, said, we get some of the best footage from CNN. So that put things in the map. Now, later, these broadcasters that were, the higher intelligence, guess what? Guess who owns NBC? Comcast. Guess who owns ABC? Disney, ESPN. Who owns CBS? Viacom. So it just changing. I think we just have to embrace the future. Not be afraid of it, not be stubborn, and say no. Whatever is whatever it is. If it's dealing with OTT platforms, it's dealing with VOD, etc. There's some people that somehow right now feel that dealing with OTT platforms is sort of I'm too important, and I think those things are not very smart.
Shane, when thinking about your platform and how you're growing it, do you partner with some of the OTT services? Are they packaged into your offering?
Not yet. We've had discussion with some, and I always say we're kind of the anti-Philo. Philo's been very successful and is the non-sports bundle. We're trying to focus on sports and broadcast and Latino, things that they don't, just as an example. But there are opportunities for partnership for sure. I mean, to answer your question earlier about where the future is, I think this convergence of social is real. I think it was interesting a few weeks ago, ESPN announced a deal with Caesars, and they're going to do sports betting with Caesars as far as showing the betting lines and things. So I see the convergence, and that mobile technology drives that, and the OTT, and I think it's going to accelerate. We're going to see more and more engagement, more and more social, and the consumer has more choice than ever, and we'll see how it shakes out.
And what percentage of your audience is watching it on mobile versus watching it on a big screen TV?
So our mobile users, I looked it up before, 57% of our users use their mobile device at least once per month to consume video content. So the heavy usage is still OTT, but there's a meaningful amount that look at it as number of minutes per month on their mobile device when they're out and about.
Oh, interesting. And then developments like 5G should be accelerants for what you're doing.
They'll accelerate it for
Yes.
sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you have questions for each other?
No, I was interested in the OGAR presentation earlier. I like to see content like that coming to market. I think it's needed and welcomed, and I think that will do very well just from what the market's looking for and asking for.
Would you consider doing any kind of premium content yourself or partnering with people to help present some premium content?
I think it's a good idea. We're too small of a company,
Too
and
small.
it would cost too much money. It's, you know, Fubo and some of the others are starting to go down that path. I just don't think it's wise use of capital.
Right.
Don't
Right.
don't take yourself out, Shane.
Okay.
You know, talk to us.
Okay.
You know, we can do some things. You know, I mean, I'm serious.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I think obviously there are different, you know, levels, but I mean, we have proven time and again, and it wasn't just me saying that. We have had Netflix. Netflix, you know, took and licensed for 2 years a series that we produced for Mexicanal, which first aired on Mexicanal, and it was very successful, you know, for them. And it was a soccer, you know, series. It was called Fuerza Necaxa. Necaxa being one of the teams, you know, from Mexico. So, I mean, don't think that you cannot do that. I mean, my partner and son Damien is right now working on a project with you know, some people out west, and it's gonna be the first, you know, scripted series. I mean, it might not necessarily be something that you would be interested in participating, but there are lots of other things that we're working on.
Good point.
And so, yeah, I mean, there are price points for everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and success knows not a price point. Otherwise, I mean, I hate to bring this up, but you know, you all you have to do is just look at Quibi.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 1.7 billion, you know, and unfortunately they didn't make it. So money doesn't buy success. You know,
That's
creativity, true. You know, and the right moment with the right product, you know, that's what makes it happen for you. But of course, I mean, Netflix can tell you about you know, the House of Cards and all that, but you know, that's a different story. Okay.
Fair enough.
Well, I think we've had a great conversation here today. I'm looking forward to seeing some new types of distribution going forward. Maybe I can close out with one question. 5 years from now, when you think about consumption, okay, and this will impact distribution, what percentage do you think what percentage of viewing will be on demand versus linear viewing?
It depends tremendously. Yes, the serialized programs would probably will see a lot in demand, as Shane was alluding to. You know, football, basketball, etc. It's not good to see a recorded game. You know, it has to be live. So it's news. You know. We're so used to having the camera there. So yes, there are going to be, because the demographics will be getting younger, and then during the lockdown we have been forced to you know, adapt certain habits or do that, you know, like ordering online, whether it's Grubhub or whatever. You know, and yes, you know, maybe people will get a little bit more curious and will look at in their provider what is available online. Yes, it will go, but
I guess maybe make it a quick question. Do you think it'll be more on demand, or will linear hold up? So quick question, because then we have to wrap it up.
50-50, I would say. That's my, yeah.
That's your answer, Luis. Shane?
Yeah, linear doesn't go away. I give it a little higher percentage linear.
Okay. Well, you're seeing what everybody's watching on all the various channels.
Yep.
Well, listen, great panel, great discussion. You're all running great businesses. And do we all have a prediction for Shane and his business? How many subscribers in the next 5 years?
I'm going to hold you to it.
Okay, I'm going to say 1 million. Okay,
I'll give
I
you a
say
hug
10
and
million.
kiss if we
How's
do
that?
that.
okay, okay. Well, listen, I'm hoping you get Luis's number. Good luck to you all. Buena suerte, buenas
Thank you all.
tardes, and gracias.
Thank you.